The fleet communications array cycled through 12 channels, all active, all tense. 3 admirals received the same data packet within 90 seconds. 2 requested early rotation before the file finished loading. 1 submitted resignation paperwork. Subject, Human Exchange Officer Callum Voss. Classification pending. Previous occupation, structural welding. 9 words on a personnel file. 3 admirals, 47 warships. A course change that added 11 hours to their route. The Korath Third Fleet had never retreated from anything. They weren't retreating now. They were just recalculating. If you value your understanding of biology, proceed with caution. The briefing started like any other. Commander Drelkin had served 40 years. His fleet had never retreated. He had reviewed this human's personnel file 3 times before this morning. Sparse data. New species. Low priority exchange program. Callum Voss. Species, human, homeworld, Earth. Previous occupation, structural welding. The file was 1 page, unremarkable. Drelkan closed it. Then Voss entered the bridge. Compact build. Carried a welding tool, analog, manual, no power cell. The Korath officers glanced at it. Museum piece. Voss nodded to the commander. Casual. Easy. Didn't stand at attention. Didn't salute. He walked across the bridge in 0.4G as if the gravity was a suggestion. Drelkin's hand paused over his console. The fleet approached a navigational anomaly. High gravity corridor. 2.1G peak. The Korath calculated maximum crew exposure was 14 minutes before structural bone damage. Standard avoidance route added 9 hours. Drelkan asked if anyone had experience with high gravity environments. Voss yawned. A security officer's threat assessment upgraded by 1 level. No one said anything. The yawn hung in the air like a protocol violation. I can take a look at the hull stress if you want, Voss said. Used to weld in tight spots back home. Drelkan opened the human's movement logs from the past 3 weeks. In 0.4G, Voss had been carrying equipment rated for Torveshi, the strongest species in the fleet, without assistance, without strain, without mentioning it. The engineering chief had filed a note. Drelkan read it twice. The human does not appear to have a maximum carrying capacity. He has not yet reached a load he considers heavy. The welding tool hung from Voss's belt. Analog, manual. No power cell. Drelkan looked at it, then at the human, then at the equipment logs again. Officer Voss? Drelkan's voice stayed level. Military precision. 40 years of practice. For route calculation purposes, what is the standard gravitational force on your homeworld? Voss looked up from his welding tool. Didn't pause. 9.81 meters per second squared. 9 words. The number populated across every tactical display on the bridge. Drelkan grabbed the console edge. His knuckles shifted color. 9.81. The Terath homeworld was 3.92. This human evolved under force that would crush a Korath soldier's skeletal system in sustained exposure. He called it standard. He had been walking around the ship in 0.4G, calling it light. He was confused by their reaction. Is that a lot? 5 words. Voss wasn't mocking them. He genuinely didn't understand. The file was updating. Drelkin watched the single sparse page populate with new data. 9.81. Maximum carrying capacity unknown. Gravity tolerance unmeasured. The scanner would have helped, but there was no scanner. Just a human with a welding tool and a confused expression. The bridge was silent. The navigation officer recalculated. The human could operate in the 2.1G corridor indefinitely. Indefinitely. It was less than a quarter of his baseline gravity. The number sat on the display. 2.1 compared to 9.81. The officer recalculated 3 times. The number didn't change. The weapons officer ran a combat simulation with the new data. Every scenario now included a variable that didn't exist 10 minutes ago, a crew member who could function in conditions that incapacitated the rest of the fleet. Not just function, work, weld. Carry equipment rated for Torveshi. Yawn. The fleet liaison whispered into a secured channel, set course away from their system. Maximum speed. No one laughed. No one clarified. The order was being considered seriously. Drelkan watched Voss return to the engineering bay. The human walked with the same casual stride. The same mild confusion about why everyone was staring. He picked up a hull plate one-handed, a plate that required 2 Korath and a gravity assist, and he whistled while he carried it. The tactical computer confirmed the number. 9.81 man-sec-square-A placed Earth in the top 0.3% of gravitational environments in the charted galaxy. Only dead worlds and gas giants registered higher. No known sapient species had evolved above 6.2 Salvadot. The computer added a footnote, recommend immediate classification review. This species does not conform to established biological models. Drelkan accessed the Vorthani Historical Archive, ancient entries, dismissed as mythology for 9 centuries. They described a heavy world species that could not be defeated because they could not be slowed. Their soldiers walked through gravity that broke other armies. Their workers carried loads that required machines. The entries were filed under fiction. They matched Earth's gravity exactly. The ancient entries weren't fiction. They were. The resignation paperwork appeared on Drelkan's console. 3 admirals. 2 requested early rotation. 1 submitted formal departure citing strategic reassessment of career priorities. The words were professional. The speed of submission was not. The fleet's planned course changed. They would pass within 4 light years of Sol system. New route added 11 hours. No one objected. Fleet Command issued a new standing order. All human exchange officers were to be given unrestricted access to gravity-sensitive areas of the ship, not as a privilege, as a monitoring protocol. If the human could function there, they needed to know about it. The welding tool hung from Voss's belt. He hadn't used it yet. He didn't need to. He was the tool. The welding equipment was just the interface. Drelkan walked to the engineering bay. Voss was inspecting a stress fracture on a support strut. The human's hands moved with precision. No hesitation. No safety harness. The gravity in this section was 1.8 G, enough to make Korath engineers work in shifts. Voss had been here for 3 hours. Officer Voss. Yeah. Drelkan paused. 40 years of command. He had given orders that sent ships into combat. He had filed reports that changed fleet doctrine. He had never once asked a question like the one forming on his vocal apparatus. That number, 9.81. Voss looked up, waited. Is that truly standard? The human blinked, then he smiled. Not mocking, not proud, just honest. Pretty much, he said, bit higher in some places, bit lower in others. But yeah, that's just Earth. Just Earth. Drelkan nodded. He didn't say anything else. There was nothing to say. Bridge lighting returned to standard. The displays had been cleared. But Voss's file remained open on 3 separate command terminals. Once a single sparse page, now the most classified document on the ship. This report has been filed under maximum classification. The fleet's course has been permanently altered. The human has been recommended for extended assignment, not because he is valued, but because Command wants to know what else he considers standard. He thinks they like his welding. They don't. To any species considering military proximity to Sol system, review your gravitational calculations. Review them twice. Then add a safety margin of at least 400%. Then reconsider. The human doesn't know he's dangerous. That's what makes him dangerous.